We will finish up with the final stages of the trans-theoretical model. In the action stage, people have recently changed their behavior, defined as within the last 6 months, and intend to keep moving forward with that behavior change. People may exhibit this by modifying their problem behavior or acquiring new health behaviors. The social cognitive theory is important in moving people who are ready for action. Let's look at the 2 important constructs of the social cognitive theory. Self-efficacy is a person's belief in his or her ability to succeed in a particular situation. Since Bandura first introduced self-efficacy in 1977, it has become one of the most studied topics in psychology. Subsequently, Bandura and many others have demonstrated that self-efficacy can have an impact on everything from psychological states to behavior to motivation. Our belief in our ability to succeed plays a role in how we think, how we act, and how we feel about our place in the world. Self-efficacy also determines what goals we choose to pursue, how we go about accomplishing those goals, and how we reflect upon our own performance. Temptation is the intensity of urges to engage in a specific habit when in the midst of difficult situations. Research suggests that tempting situations often involve negative affect or emotional distress, positive social situations, and cravings. In the pre-contemplation and contemplation stages, temptation to engage in problem behavior is far greater than self-efficacy to abstain. As individuals move from preparation to action, the disparity between feelings of self-efficacy and temptation closes, and behavior change is attained. Relapse often occurs in situations where feelings of temptation trump individuals' sense of self-efficacy to maintain the desired behavior change. Think back to when we talked about decisional balance and weighing the costs and benefits to making a change. You could replace temptation with cost and self-efficacy with benefits. When your perceived costs outweigh the benefits, temptation is high. However, as your self-efficacy increases, so do your perceived benefits of making a change. In the maintenance stage, people have sustained their behavior change for some time, defined as more than 6 months, and intend to maintain the behavior change indefinitely. People in this stage work to prevent relapse to earlier stages. That wraps up the stages of change construct of the trans-theoretical model. Let's look at examples of how to identify what stage of change individuals are in for physical activity. An individual in pre-contemplation may say, "I am currently not physically active. I get enough activity running after my children." This individual has no intention of making a change. They may underestimate the value of regular physical activity. When in contemplation, they may say, "I am seriously considering starting a walking program to help me reach a healthy weight." Now they are starting to realize the benefits of making a change, but are still on the fence. Perhaps they have friends or coworkers who are managing their weight through physical activity, or maybe they are taking PE 183. In preparation, they could say, "I am currently physically active, but not on a regular basis. I bought a Fitbit to help me track my progress." This person is preparing to move more and is taking steps to engage. In action, they might say, "I have been engaging in regular physical activity for the past 2 months. This person may be realizing some of the benefits of being active, but have not yet made physical activity a habit. They can easily slip back into old habits if they are confronted with change or a stressful event. And finally, in maintenance, an individual may say, "I currently engage in regular physical activity and have been doing so for years. This person makes physical activity a priority in their day-to-day routine, and they embrace the intrinsic rewards of an active lifestyle. You are in maintenance when you have been engaging in the health behavior for more than 6 months. It is possible for an individual to relapse at any stage, and they can re-enter at any stage, with the exception of pre-contemplation. Identifying your stage of change can help you to tailor strategies for positive change. Those strategies are known as processes of change. The processes of change are the strategies that help people progress through the stages of change. An individual's stage of change will determine what strategies or interventions are appropriate to move them to the next stage of change. The processes of change have been sorted to where they are the most effective throughout the stages of change. The first group are identified as experimental and are most useful to move people from pre-contemplation, contemplation, and preparation. They increase intention and motivation. The second group are identified as behavioral and are most useful to move people from preparation and action. They help people to maintain behavior change. The experimental processes of change are consciousness raising, means to increase awareness about a behavior and its consequences. So learning new facts, ideas, and tips that support the behavior change are helpful. Dramatic relief is experiencing emotional arousal such as fear, anxiety, and worry about the health behavior, whether positive or negative. An example may be quitting smoking after a loved one is diagnosed with lung cancer. Environmental reevaluation is to realize how your behavior affects others and the environment. Perhaps investigating how your lifestyle impacts the environment or how participating in vaccinations may encourage others to comply. Social liberation is realizing that social norms are changing in the direction of supporting the health behavior. One example can be the changes brought about by MAD when cities and organizations started to establish responsible drinking campaigns. Self-reevaluation connects the person to their behavior and its consequences. Finding positive role models can help with self-reevaluation. The behavioral processes of change are self-liberation, which is making a commitment to change behavior based on the belief that achievement of the health behavior is possible and that it will have a positive impact. Making a New Year's resolution is an example of this. Proper planning is key, and we will look at preparation in a little bit. Counter-conditioning is substituting healthy behaviors and thoughts for unhealthy behaviors and thoughts. Discovering more positive alternatives to your current behaviors helps to counter-condition you and set you up for success. Replacing endlessly scrolling through social media after dinner with a quick walk is just one way you can counter-condition yourself while adding physical activity. Helping relationships involves finding supportive relationships that encourage the desired change. This includes engaging in discussions with others or attending support group meetings. Reinforcement management is rewarding the positive behavior and reducing the rewards that come from the negative behavior. And stimulus control is re-engineering the environment to have reminders and cues that support and encourage the health behavior and remove those that encourage the risk behavior. Understanding the stimuli or cues that trigger the risk behavior and removing them or making a plan to avoid them. I often recall my father saying that he was always tempted to smoke long after he quit when he was out with friends who smoked. Cutting ties with enabling friends is a form of stimulus control. There is no specific order to these processes, and it may not be necessary to engage in all. The important thing is to be aware of the different strategies and to incorporate them into your life when appropriate. Be patient with yourself or others throughout this process. Each stage can take months. You may be contemplating your change for a long time before you actually take action. Employing the processes of change as you move through each stage can help you create a more positive life for yourself. We will wrap this up with a quote from Albert Einstein. You never fail until you stop trying. There is no doubt that changing a behavior is hard. Next, we will learn practical strategies to help you continue to move forward, even if you feel like you are not making progress. And remember that small lapses do not equate to failure.